Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So last session I was talking about uh, creating a S3 bucket, EC2, EPC security groups. So we have created a each resources separately. Okay, so that is what we have completed. Okay, so today what we are going to do, we are going to talk about the day six is Terraform modules. Okay, so now we'll talk about the what is Terraform models, how we can able to reusable it. Okay. So let's go to the first is theory. So what is this modules? Okay, let me talk about these things. So a Terraform module is a container for a multiple resources that are used together. So you are going to create the EC2, VPC, S3 bucket. So these are all the resources, right? So we are going to create it multiple resource together. Okay, so that is what Terraform module. And next point is, so modules make your infrastructure code organized and reusable and easier to manage it. So now let me talk about the different types of modules. Okay, the first one is a root module. So what this root module to do? The folder where you are going to run the Terraform commands. The next one is child modules. So the child module, what it will do? It will reuse all the folders with the resource that can be called by the root module. So that is what child module. So why we need to use the modules? Let me talk about this. So just imagine, so you have multiple projects that all need the same infrastructure. For example, you have a 10 projects, okay? So they wanted to use it, same configuration, same resource, okay? So how do we do it? So using the Terraform models, we can able to achieve it. So EC2 instance and many more resource like let's take example for EC2, VPC. These are the things we can able to do it. And next one is, so instead of copying the same code, so you can create a model and reuse it. Okay. So write a one time for the code. You can able to use it multiple projects. So the next point is this is going to be saves our times and avoid the mistakes also. So now what we are going to do? So we are going to create the module folder structure. So how our folder structure will be there? Let me talk about. So we are going to create the Terraform project. So inside that we are going to create the modules folder. Inside the models we are going to create the our EC2 instance, VPC. These are all the things. So now let's go and create the EC2 instance under the modules folder. So what are the things it will be available under the EC2 instance? Main.tf, variables.tf, output.tf. So these are all the mandatory in the modules. So now what we can do, let's go to that official documentation. So let's start our EC2 machine. Let me see. Okay, let me start the server. So this will take some time to initialize the EC2 instance. Let's go and connect it. Decrypt it, download the file. So it will ask for the password. Let's paste it. So let me create the folder structure here. Now I'm going to create the folder called Terraform project. So inside that, I'm going to create the modules folder. Let me open the Visual Studio Code here. Let me create under the modules EC2 instance. So under here, I'm going to create the main.tf. So now what we can do, let's go and create the resource. So resource AWS underscore instance name, we can give it EC2. So let's come down and here I'm going to use it AMI. So here I'm going to use the variables. So still I have not created any variable file. So we can create it later and now also it's fine. So I'm going to use it AMI underscore ID. So first we can create the variables, then we can able to do it. Anything is fine for me. So I'm going to use it here because I know what are the things I need to write it down. Instance type. Okay. Now let me come down. So we can able to use the tags. Now I'm going to create the variables files under the EC2. Let's use the variables.tf. So here I'm going to use the variables for the AMI instance type, and instance name. So this is a variables files. Now let me talk about, sorry, I need to create under this output.tf. So output means, so whenever we need output file, we can able to use it after the creation. Now, till now we have created the EC2 module only. Now what we can do, let's create the providers.tf. Okay, providers.tf under modules should be there. That means under the root module. So not under the EC2 instance. So now what I can do, let me create the provider.tf. So providers.tf, what all the things it will be there? Your version and the source file and the region. That's it. Other than that, nothing. Now, same thing, we need to create the variables.tf under the root module. So here I'm going to mention all the variables details. So if you're able to see it, so I can able to use the string option. So I can mention that what is the region. Okay. So I don't want it to go on. I need to mention under the child module. For example, variables.tf, right? So I'm going to use it. So here, for example, instance type, you can take it and come down variable start. So here I'm going to mention it. So this will fetch from there. Okay. Now let's create the under the root file. Let's create under the, okay, it is not valid. It is, so we need to create under here. This file is already under. Let me see where it is, this file. Correct. Main.tf. So here we can write a module. So the module name EC2 underscore demo. The source I'm getting from the our EC2 instance. So AMI ID. So I'm not going to mention it directly, the AMI ID instance, everything. I will fetching all the details from the under the EC2 instance, because under the EC2 instance we are already mentioned these are all the types. Okay, so whatever you are seeing, the same name should be available under year, then only it will take it. Okay, the same name we should mention it, but the actually AMI we are taking from year. If you are able to see it, so here if you are able to see it, so still we are not mentioned any string, it is mentioned. So we are going to put input file as a string. So instance type it will not ask because we are already mentioned here, and AMID also we are going to add it. So string means, so it is going to be asked the input file. Now the last one, we are going to create it under the root folder output.tf. So now we have created the model structure like this. Okay, under the EC2 instance, main.tf, variables.tf, output.tf. So now what I'm going to do next, let's initialize it. Okay. Let me go to that terminal. Let's make it ls. Okay. Terraform init. So once it is initialized, so we'll validate the code configuration. Then we'll create the infrastructure. Let me go to that under the EC2 section here. Okay. Terraform, validate, Terraform. So it is asking for the input. Okay. So in the variables.tf, I have already explained it here. So I have not mentioned any AMI ID. So this is a one type of we can able to use it. No, I don't want it to use. It should not ask. I'm going to talk about later. Okay. So let it do it now. So let's go and check here. Our EC2 machine should be created. So if you're able to see it, Terraform, right? So it is already initializing. Okay. So this is for the one module for EC2. Same thing we can able to do it like a uh, VPC, okay, S3 bucket, load balancer. Those things can able to do it. Now what I'm going to do, the next one is let's destroy it. So if I wanted to destroy it, again it will ask for the AMI ID. So we need to enter it. If you are not mentioned correct proper one, then it will get error. So if you're able to see it, so this is a one type of model we have created. No, I don't want it to use this kind of. So we can mention the AMI ID, what is this instance type, okay, and the instance name, everything. That means it is not going to ask anything. Or we can mention entire AMI ID, okay. For example, here under the variables, we can able to directly mention the AMI ID and instance name also we can mention it here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this entire model file. Let it destroy. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do, let's apply it. So here I'm mentioning everything directly. Let's let it be there here. Okay, same thing, let it be there. I'm going to modify it here. That will be the Good idea. Let's use this default option under here. Now it should not ask any AMI ID. Okay. Same thing here. Let's copy. So now let me try it out. It should not ask any AMI ID, name, everything. Now directly it should ask yes or no. The resource should be created or so now if you're able to see it, it is asking. So for this session, what are the things we learned? What Terraform modules are, how to create and reusable the modules, how to call the modules from the root folder, reuse the modules for the multiple resource. These are the things we talk about. So next topic, I'm going to show you to how we can able to create the multiple environment resources. Okay. So now let me just try it. So this is going to be deleted. Let me show it here also. See, it is already shut down. So today we talk about modules. So earlier I told you, let's talk about tomorrow how we can able to create the multiple environment. So again, I'm going to talk about who all are new to my channel. So please subscribe it, share with your friends. So till the next session. Bye guys. Bye bye.